Remember GST? How could you forget, especially with that video? Well, be careful what you ask for. GST could be making a comeback. Bersama Michael, you're watching KiniFlash. One of Pakatan Harapan's biggest election promises was to abolish the goods and services tax, a promise they delivered soon after winning the election. However, Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said today that the government is willing to study the possibility of reintroducing the GST, if that's what the people want.
Well, if the people believe it is better, we will study it. Yeah.
How can
GST itulah saya cakap, jawab tadi. Kita kalau itu yang kehendak rakyat, kita akan kaji sama ada lebih baik daripada SST atau.
Sempat tak kalau nak masuk untuk bajet tu?
Bajet susah sekali lah.
Maybe later on lah.
Maybe later on.
Mahathir was responding to a suggestion from the Malaysian Institute of Economic Research to reintroduce the GST in the 2020 budget at a lower rate of 3%. Describing the GST as a tax regime that is fair to all walks of life, the Institute's chairperson, Kamal Saleh, said that the GST was the system that kept the government afloat when the crude oil price declined to below $36 per barrel in 2015. Yesterday, we reported that Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad and past President Abdul Hadi Awang will attend the Malay Dignity Congress. Well, now, Umno has confirmed their attendance too. At a press conference this evening, Umno President Ahmad Zaid Hamidi said Umno will be represented by Party Secretary General Annuar Musa and several other party leaders. Zaid himself wouldn't be able to make it because he has prior party commitments.
Kita merasakan bahawa kongres itu dianjurkan oleh IPTA, universities dan juga NGO. Maka kita merasakan bahawa keterlibatan UMNO akan memberikan sedikit sumbang saran untuk menghormati penganjuran berkenaan.
Yesterday, former Minister Zaid Ibrahim and DAP lawmaker Charles Santiago said Mahathir should not attend the conference. However, the minister tasked with overseeing national unity sees nothing wrong with the event nor the Prime Minister's presence. When asked if the Congress is not conducive to national unity, P. Wedamurthy told reporters in Putrajaya this afternoon that it wasn't a problem. The Congress is organized by 4 public universities: Universiti Malaya, Universiti Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Universiti Putra Malaysia and Universiti Teknologi Mara. It will be held at Stadium Melawati in Shah Alam on Sunday. PKR President Anwar Ibrahim is confident that Dr. Mahathir Mohamad would not touch on racially sensitive issues when attending the Malay Dignity Conference this Sunday. However, Anwar raised concern over the race-based Congress and cautioned participants against making provocative statements.
Saya dari segi pada prinsipnya tidak dijemput, tetapi walaupun bagaimanapun saya fikir penting kita jaga apapun tujuannya supaya jangan kita panaskan suhu politik dan ketegangan kaum, terutama kalau ada usaha yang kadang-kadang ditajaja, ada orang bangkitkan ya. Orang-orang ni ada setengahnya itu adalah di antara pendukung rejim lama yang paling kuat dan juga yang paling kuat pandangan perkauman mereka. Jadi kita harus waspada.
De facto Unity Minister P. Wedamurthy can keep his job, well, for now.
Tanya apa?
Tun dengan pendidikan Wedamurthy yang sebelum ini akan ditentukan
ya, saya tak nampak apa masalah ya. Jadi waktu ini saya masih boleh simpan dia sebagai menteri.
Previously, the Prime Minister reportedly said that Weda's future in the cabinet would be determined following the outcome of the inquest into firefighter Mohamad Adib Muhammad Qasim's death. He said this after Wedamurthy was accused of having flamed tensions when he and 3 other ministers chastised police for their initial remarks, blaming the fighting at the temple to 2 Indian groups. A social media campaign calling for Wedamurthy to resign gained over 300,000 signatures at the time. It appears we wouldn't be able to last a day without talking about the expected power transition between Dr. Mahathir and PK President Anwar Ibrahim. Today, Dr. Mahathir was asked by reporters if he could provide a time frame for the expected transition. This is what he said.
There has been some concerns about the peralihan kuasa. Some are asking whether maybe a specific date would help, so people are not so worried about it.
We have to study the situation. You think it's a special date, work is half done or not done, susah.
Moving on to international headlines, a vintage bomber has crashed in the US, leaving several people dead.
A World War II-era B-17 bomber trying to make an emergency landing at an airport near Hartford, Connecticut crashed and burned on Wednesday, killing 7 people on board. The airport was forced to close for several hours following the incident. The Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress took off from the Bradley International Airport on Wednesday morning, and then the crew contacted the air traffic control tower 5 minutes later to report a problem.
We had a B-17, that's a vintage World War II aircraft that's operated by the Collins Foundation, took off on runway 6 at approximately 9:45 this morning. At about 9:50, 5 minutes into the flight, the aircraft indicated to the tower that they were experiencing some type of problem. The aircraft attempted to return to the runway. It circled around the airport. But unfortunately, upon touchdown, the aircraft obviously lost control.
During the crew's attempt to land back at the airport, the plane struck stanchions near a runway, then careened across a grassy area and a taxiway before striking a de-icing facility. A 10-member team has been deployed to investigate the crash. Rescue crews from numerous emergency response agencies raced to the scene, where a plume of thick black smoke billowed skyward in the aftermath. On top of the 7 casualties, 6 others, including a worker in the de-icing station, were treated for injuries ranging from minor to critical. A total of 13 people were on board the plane, including 3 crew members. The name of the 7 people who perished have not been released, pending notification of all the victims' families. All the victims were adults.
Baghdad is in lockdown as anti-government protests escalate.
Protesters in the Iraqi capital of Baghdad were fired upon by troops as they attempted to storm the local airport in the latest escalation of nationwide anti-government protests. This has prompted Iraqi Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi to declare a curfew in Baghdad until further notice, following the death of at least 7 people in the violent unrest with over 400 injured.
We want work, this man says. If they do not want to treat us as Iraqis, then tell us we are not Iraqi, and we will find other nationalities and migrate to other countries.
The demonstrations that began on Tuesday were sparked by unemployment, corruption and poor public services. Yesterday, the demonstrators escalated their demands and called for the, quote, fall of the regime, in what has been seen as the largest display of public anger against the current administration. According to Internet Blockage Observatory NetBlocks, Internet has been cut off for much of the country.
And here are several other news highlights from today. And that is all from me today. For more stories, go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and YouTube for the latest news updates. And for Michael, thank you for watching. Good night.